Half of footy, we see plenty of goal kickers with Harry Di Pasquale, Archie and Slattery, all two mainly in that second quarter. And for the Eagles, 3 early goals for Passador, the rest singles. It's been a great game of footy so far, Neil.
Absolutely, only 1 point the margin. What do you make of the statistics, which show, well, inside 50 is a good indication, I guess, of the scoring.
You look right down the table there, behinds of one in front of Port Adelaide, all the rest very even, so beautifully poised here at half-time.
Sodas, you've been hard at work as usual. What have you got from the change rooms at halftime?
Well, I can tell you, it has been a cracker of a game, hasn't it? We'd expect that from two sides vying for the double chance come finals time. Now, plenty of action just at the end of halftime. We did see a decision where Hayden Skipworth had plenty of bounces of the football, and then he was actually caught, but he got the handball away there. Super chase by Shane Biaggi. Umpire Pfeiffer said play on. Now, the Port Adelaide supporters weren't too happy with that particular decision, and maybe a few others. You can see this fella here having a good day out. He's just venting his frustrations there against the umpire and also the Eagles players as they run up the race there. So the Port Adelaide faithful a little restless now at halftime after that particular action there. Now, just with the Eagles, Matty Cooper's the only player with an injury concern. He rolled that ankle, but he's had that restrap. We saw that early on in the game. He's fine. He's been back out there during that second term, so no worries there whatsoever. There are a couple of other injuries I want to talk about with the Eagles. Last week, Stevie Hall concussed late in the game. Now, his concussion was deemed okay during the week, but he actually strained his medial ligament in that particular incident. 4 weeks is probably the diagnosis for him, so we won't see him for a while. Rob Fiarchi strained his hamstring, an 8-centimetre tear in the same hamstring he hurt, so we won't see him for probably 6 weeks. A couple of important players the Eagles want back for the finals. So good luck to both of those boys in their rehab, and here's Michael Maney to start the second half.
Thank you, Mark Soderstrom. Comprehensive report as usual. The Magpies by 1 point out of the centre. Important Elstone tries to get it through, and in comes Skipworth along with Simmons. Biaggi on the bottom of that lot. Terrific player in that first half, Shane Biaggi. Just runs and carries the footy. Ruckman don't do battle there. Taken by Colville. Not 15. Umpire said play on. Meiklejohn just crashes in with the tackle.
Thank you. Would have been tempting for Tim Ginniver to push Corey Archie back just for this quarter with the Eagles kicking with the footy, but look, he's gone with Matty Loken, who had a very good second quarter against Mark Passador.
Certainly did. Mark McKenzie's kick is a high one. Skipworth takes the mark, just seems to be working his way into the game. That's dangerous for the Maggies. Simmons, who's had his injury problems this year, switches it into the centre. Oh, dangerous kick. Eilert. Colville caught flat-footed. Bock. Just quick hands to McKenzie. Got it back to Simmons. Kicks long. Locken at the back. Takes a lovely mark and spreads it to Jeremy Clayton. He's got Butcher on further afield. Could have handballed it to him. Decided to go with a wobbly old kick. No free kick to the Eagles player who threw his head back. And then a free kick for holding onto the football. Goes against that man. I still can't pick him up. It's Cooper. So Butcher's got the free kick from half-back. A former Glenelg player, Troy Butcher, he's fitted hand in glove into this Magpie lineup. Sikolo went the double fister. Eilert claimed to be held. Waterhouse, slick hands to Di Pasquale. Here go the Magpies. Wobbly old kick. Target is Slattery. Getting back, Potter. But he's got a free kick, Potter, for a front-on tackle, and Powell relieves and spots up Sicolella in the middle.
Sicolella short. Rugolo takes the mark. Still between the centre and half forward. Looks up. Passador goes. That's the direction of the kick. Looking for Mark Passador. Locken this time. Punches it down. Westbrook with the road. Great kick. Brilliant finish by David Westbrook for his second goal. And the Eagles have their first of the quarter. And they're back in front.
I've commented on previously that Westbrook is a hard matchup. Here's his kick just into a dangerous spot. Loken, who seems to have got on top of Passador, just front and centre. Great roving by Westbrook, and he is value for kicks. Kicks his second for the day, and the Eagles get an important goal early in this third quarter.
Good work by Westbrook. 19 goals for the season. 2 straight today.
Right at it.
5 points the difference. There's Meiklejohn and Lindsay. Lindsay got the better of that, you would have thought. Work out of there by Elstone. They got it to Biaggi. Another kick to him. Marked by Davis, who uses Elstone. Elstone will look for Waterhouse. Went one-handed. Rode brilliantly by Polton. He's got a scrag at couple. Taken by Harry. Just can't get it. Slattery. This way, that. Polton taken to the line by Simmons. And a boundary throw in. Interesting Waterhouse. The one-hander.
Yeah, the workload still very evenly spread for both sides in the first half. Shane Biaggi had 15, Jeremy Clayton 13, Luke Slattery 11 for the Magpies, and for the Eagles, Mark McKenzie had 14, Vinnie Rugolo 12, and Gavin Colville 11.
Here's Nathan Bock out of half-back for the Eagles. Spots up Inkster. Inkster, what's he got in front of him? Brokey gave him something. Westbrook also, but he's held on to it and just waits. Kicks to the outer side to a 2-on-1, but that's a good mark by Rugolo, who loves mixing it up. Vinnie Rugolo, he good antagonistic player. He kicks it inside 50. No one can take the mark. Pack of players pounce on the football. Ball up. 4 minutes gone. The early goal in this third term to David Westbrook from the Eagles.
Interestingly, in the way the Eagles bring it in now, it's slow. Pasador doesn't get his one-on-ones. All of a sudden, we get a look here. And there's a Cameron Isla sitting back in a hole. He'll just help me out, Logan. In the first quarter, that wasn't happening.
Yes, they've definitely changed the structure. Here's Pasador off the ground. Couldn't quite get enough of it on the end of the boot. And Jeremy Clayton from half-back to Islet, who just went one-handed there, I thought. Just feeds it back inboard to Elstone, who's really starting to get some of the football. Daniel Elstone. He's got to use Islet again. He's got to get around Treby. Gee, they fiddle around with the ball there. They could come unstuck as Elstone cops a high tackle, and they effectively get out of it.
She's lucky there, wasn't he? Just that tackle slipping up high. So Elstone's gone short for Di Pasquale. Nothing much down the line for Di Pasquale, but he'll be forced to go that way, you'd think. And he'll go for Meiklejohn. Lindsay will come from the back and almost took it. Now the big guy on the ground released the ball. Still it's in dispute. Umpire giving the players every opportunity. Shattuck did well. Picked up the ball, but he was going nowhere. Finally, umpire will come in. Bounce the ball. Or at least throw it up. Skipworth, forearm jolt, I thought. Umpire agreed, or did he?
Yeah.
And he's pulling out the book. And Skipworth is going to be reported. Or is he? Wait.
No, he got the free kick and then you went after it.
Well, there you go. You heard the umpire. So Islet's going to be reported. It'll end up being a free kick for Skipworth. Let's have a look how it unfolded.
I'm reporting him for striking.
Well.
Right now you got a kick because it was his kick, so it's reversed.
Andrew, you know the tribunal system well in South Australia. Does that constitute a reprimand?
I think, yeah, probably. I think given a record and given everything else involved with the play, look, it's just retaliation.
Right there.
Done everything right, went in hard for the tackle. Got the free kick, which was the important thing. Then to give it back is disappointing.
Skipworth down to half forward, looking for Grokey in the middle of the pack. Well taken by Baird.
While that action was happening there with Hayden Skipworth copping a little elbow, Mark Pasador was taken from the ground by Ronnie Fuller. He's just on the phone to him now, just sorting out some forward structures. Sam Jacobs has come onto the ground. He's gone up forward and he's been picked up by Locken. Jacobs last week came on during the third term when Centrals started to get the ascendancy. So good move by Ron Fuller to get Jacobs in.
That passage of play won't help Islet's mood at the moment as Treby spots up Inkster, but Islet went for a mark behind Mackenzie on the wing, and Mackenzie took the ball in front when perhaps Islet may have punched. And I don't think Islet's stocks with Tim Ginniver would be very high just at the moment either.
I think there's probably about 3,000 people at the ground thought he should have punched in, and unfortunately Cameron Islet took the wrong thing, took the wrong decision there, and now Inkster lines up.
Young man being told by Locken that he shouldn't be out there in Big Butler, but meanwhile it's been a goal to Inkster. So the Eagles hit back.
King's done a pretty good job on Inkster today there. So once again, how important now is that turned over free kick? Port Adelaide could have been deep inside there attacking 50. Cameron Islet does an undisciplined act after he wins a free kick, does the hard work. The Eagles get the goal. They now assume ascendancy in this game. I like the move of pushing Jacobs forward. It really stretches the Port Adelaide defence. I don't know if Loken can play full back on someone who's 202 centimetres.
Interesting challenge. Port Adelaide, who hit the lead in the second term at the 16-minute mark. They hadn't led the game.
So you got
the
188
mark of the first.
188 versus 202 there at full forward. So look, it's a big ask of Matty Loken. He's a very good player. The Eagles just need to change their mentality also. You can see how tall he is. You can't try to pinpoint him with a pass like you've done Passador. You just need to kick it along to the top of the square, give some height in it, and let him just use his height.
Here's Sikalala. We'll look at setting it up. Got it to Simmons. Simmons will go along to that contest we spoke to a moment ago. Jacobs in front and held on to it, did he? Umpire paid it for that or a push, one or the other. And the young man is going back and looking at a shot from about 35 to 40 metres out.
Important thing there from the Eagles, they did win the footy. And there's Simons who punts it into the tough slot. Jacobs just playing in front. He's probably done enough to hold that. If not, it was a push in the back. Gets a chance in his 5th game of footy.
Starting to rain at Alberton. A big lead here for the Eagles could be very important. Jacobs, wobbly old looking kick. And he kicks his first goal in league company. Sammy Jacobs, as pointed out to me by the eagle eye of Andrew Rogers. That's a good result for the young kid and also the Eagles, who've kicked 3 quick goals in this 3rd term.
And a dream come true for Ronnie Fuller. We just saw Passador go off the ground. All of a sudden Jacobs comes out. Just a different matchup, a different mindset there for Locken. And Jacobs finishes off nicely. So the Eagles extend their lead out to 17 points. Just in dangerous times here now for the Maggies.
Well done. Good
Lindsay.
tackle. Good tackle, well
Jeremy
done.
Clayton released it. Now it comes to Viarchi. He's in trouble. Just got the kick away. He slipped in. You can tell the rain already having a bit of an effect on the players. Mickles on the ground. Elstone now slow to get rid of it. That won't please Port Adelaide fans either, because Tim Fife, or rather it's not Tim Fifer, it's Anthony Mead coming in for the free kick. As Fiarchi trapped his man. So Fiarchi down to half forward with the kick. It carries the pack, and at the back, Jeremy Clayton, the McGarry medalist. Goes down the mark, takes his time. He's not happy. He hasn't got anything much to kick to, so he drops it in short. And he only found Westbrook. He was looking for Polton, who'd led up into what he thought was a bit of space. Back to Treby. He's long off his left foot. He's very long, and he's very accurate. And they've got another one.
And a dangerous kick by Jeremy Clayton, bringing it back into the corridor, especially into the teeth of the breeze. Gets turned over. There's the kick back in there. Westbrook just really minding his own business. Plays on quickly, gives the outside to the preferred left foot of Treby, and you can see from well outside 50, he bombs away, so he's ticked that probably 60, 65. As I said, once again, the Port need now to take stock, because Jim Ginnivan now start to push a few numbers behind the footy to try and slow it down. Needs to get out to his players to use the boundary line, get close to the boundary line, take this momentum away from the Eagles.
4 goals to zip in this term by the Eagles. It's out to 23 points. Shattuck couldn't quite hold on. Slattery kicks to the pocket, over the back. Who can take it? Surely a free kick. No free kick to the Magpie and Morrison. I think it might have been Davis. Bock with the footy at half back. Just kick around the body. Viarchi can't grab it. Colville can. Treby, who kicked that wonderful goal a moment ago. Mackenzie in the middle of this. Got his hands on the footy. Rugolo hits the pack hard. Can't take the footy with him. In goes Butcher, also Skipworth and Eilert. They've got some history from about 10 minutes ago. And umpire Pfeiffer comes in and says, cut it out. We'll have a boundary throw in.
Michael, as the weather is starting to come in, a little bit of rain, but it's also getting very dark. The wind has picked up, which is certainly favouring the Eagles in this term, so Port Adelaide will have it with them in that final quarter.
Thanks, Mark. On the boundary. Taken by Locken. Kicks to the wing. Slattery's got to use his pace in front of Sikalala. Cicolella just zones away from him, leaves Slattery in plenty of space with some work to do. Who does he pick out? He goes looking for Polton. Did he mark that inside the line? He did. 12.5, nearly 13 gone. Magpies desperately need a goal. Polton's kick is probably not good enough. King, good tackle by Fiacci. Too high, said the umpire. Just cocked him across the shoulder. Matthew King with a free kick just outside 50, decides to feed it off to Archie. Archie's kick just dies in that breeze. Harry can't get it. A boundary throw in. That breeze, as Mark Soderstrom said, is really starting to kick in.
Here's the tackle. It's marginal where that first arm just went over the top of the shoulder. But disappointing there from Corey Archie. Went to the pocket, put some pressure on the goal square. They need to get a goal just to stem this flow for the Eagles.
Eagles get it out of their defensive area with a great slap away by the big ruckman, Lindsay. Fiacci was brilliant, pinched the ball off his opponent in Elstone. Now they work it, comes out wide for Inkster, dropped it in short to Skipworth. Skipworth can go across half forward, sets it up high, ball over the back. Clayton, and in there also was his tagger in Colville, who had a head clash there. It'd be interesting to see how Gavin Colville comes out of that little clash of bodies. Ronnie Fuller just investigating possibilities there.
Right at it.
Jacobs got the ball down. Now Rugolo close to the ground. Round the corner he goes with a kick, sets up for Locken. He takes the mark, wants to play on. Will come this side with his right foot. Non-preferred to Jeremy Clayton, going back and making the contest. Well done by Brokey. And then he got Eilert, perhaps a bit high. Further down the line, Slattery, good turn. Hand pass was on, got it up there to Polton. Polton cuts inboard, not the greatest of kicks. Rolling, it got to Meiklejohn. Meiklejohn's got the hand pass on for Polton. Polton can break a tackle, he give it to Slattery. Slattery from 50 drops it in short for Waterhouse. Waterhouse, well done by Brock, who got the punch in there and cleared by Pedlar.
Pedlar's kick to half-back, Meiklejohn going to ground, Cicolella. That's the second one I think he's milked today, Cicolella. He's got that one working beautifully. That phone call's finished with Ron Fuller from Mark Passador. He's back on.
Michael, interestingly, he's replacing Adam Grokey, who's really struggled today at centre-half forward.
Thanks, Mark. Taken by Colville on the rebound. Long kick to that mismatch. Jacobs in front. Got to rove his own ball. Off the ground by Butcher. Just playing the football out to the outer side, looking for King. Inkster takes him to the line and belts him into the turf. And there's a bit of concrete over there too, mind you. But Inkster looks okay.
Done a good job, Matty King, today. Inkster's been one of the form players. So that's a great tackle.
Lindsay's gone forward, Jacobs into the ruck.
Meiklejohn fighting hard, so too Eilert. In trouble, Baird. Taken by Westbrook, kicks it across the body. Lindsay's there, but Jeremy Clayton just getting a lot of kicks behind the ball at the moment. Jeremy Clayton not punishing the Eagles, but I think that's probably Tim Geneva's plan, to just get him across there and mop up and get as many possessions just to stop this run of the Eagles.
Probably taking the onus upon himself. That's his best value at the moment. If he can sit in a space, just with his smart play, his good decision making, should be of value to the Magpies back there.
Chad Davis takes a nice mark, the former St Kilda player, also played for North Adelaide. Carr, bouncing ball, taken by Butcher. Next kick important. Butcher's drill, finds Archie. Quick hands, got it to Polton. Polton's got to get around a couple. Has he done too much? No. Set it home. Which way will it bounce? It could bounce through for goal. It didn't. It hit the post behind the first score of the quarter.
Looked dangerous when they moved the ball quickly, the Maggies, when they were able to get it and use their runners. And Polton's been important today. Both their wingmen have been on top of the Eagles' wingmen.
Jared in a bit of space, did well, off the left foot, long he goes, locking out points Passador. Now he looks to play on and rebound. Carr got Butcher free. Butcher can play on as well. He's got a hand pass on to Baird. He goes over the top instead to Fiacci. Baird follows up. He may still get it. He's still inside looking for it. Polton looks to break. Polton at 50. Inside 50 for Archie. And Archie with a two-grabber.
Yeah, it's a good fluid movement out of the back half after they won the crawl across half back. And that's just Corey Archie's go. He's just going to compete for you all the time. It's a better matchup. I know with Ron Fuller went with McKenzie there late in the second quarter. Just the body strength was too much for Mark McKenzie, and Joe Pedal is certainly the best equipped defender for Corey Archie.
Just Port's 4th mark inside 50 today. The Eagles have taken 11.
Pedler.
It's not a pretty sight, was it? Imagine waking alongside that in the morning.
Well, leave that one alone as Archie comes in. Club champion in 2002, knows Alberton pretty well, doesn't get the distance. Ball on the ground, Slattery, and Jacobs wants to rush it, so does McKenzie, looking to get it over the line, and eventually we'll get a ball up. Right on the line.
Need to keep it alive here, the Maggies. Bring it back out. 15 metres, get Clive Aldhouse to jump up and keep it in play.
Jacobs missed it, they had to keep it in play in the end. Powell, tackle well by Clayton, released a hand pass, Cicolella was in there, gave it back to Jacobs, off the left foot, the big guy close to the line, he wants the bounce, he got the bounce. Just out in front of Biaggi.
It's a good result there for the Eagles, but once again, Tim Ginnivan would be really happy with the amount of contested ball they've won around the contest. They've broken even with the Eagles, where at the start of the day, the Eagles would have relied on it as one of their strengths.
Boundaries throw in. Mr. Reliable, McKenzie to the wing. Awkward bounce. Player starting to slip a bit. Rugolo, amazing stuff. Got it on the boot and just gained about 25 to 30 metres for his side. It's a good play by Rugolo, something out of nothing just to push that ball forward.
Full credit to Matty Locken today too. He was really taken apart for about a 5-minute period there in the first quarter. Pulled his way back against Mark Pessador and probably edged his nose in front.
Locken 10 marks, 12 possessions.
Been okay for them. His day started off disastrously. In goes Inkster. Pinched by King, that's a good play. Archie in front, got a nudge from Pedler. Umpire was right there, said no, that's all right. Big Jacobs kicks it high. Skipworth and Micklejohn, bit of a height difference there. Micklejohn taking the mark, wanted to feed it off, but the players had run too far forward. He goes looking for Clayton, and that's not a bad result. Clayton down the line has got Island. Just carried the big man in Jacobs. Island's got to get around Jacobs and does so. Slattery wants to go inboard. Finds Elstone. Now Elstone's going to kick long. He's going to hopefully kick accurately to the point of the square. Over the back. No mark taken. Not through by Shattuck. Good defensive work. And the fly down there was by, I think, Butcher, who floated down, but a rush behind. 21 points the difference. Favour of the Eagles.
Bring it in quickly, they get it to centre wing, they go for Skipworth on Polton. Polton punched away, Skipworth off the ground, kept it in front, now Polton to the front. What a 1-on-1 contest that was, and in the end it's a draw. It's out of bounds on centre wing.
Jared Polton worked back well. The kick certainly favoured Hayden Skipworth. Worked back well. Important that he made the contest there, gets it out of bounds. Now reverts back to a 50-50 on the outer wing.
Inkster tried to punch it away. Umpire said it was held to him. I think there'll be complaints that it maybe come from the throw-in, but no.
This way. He might have given the benefit of that.
Well, possibly there the umpire's ruling that it was play on, given the way that the ball had drifted into play. And a bit of blood there from Skipworth, and I think he might be sent off the ground. We'll wait on it. Umpire content to say there's not flowing blood there. Jacobs, nice little tap back. Quickly in the forward 50. That's what the Eagles want, a quick forward entry. That's what both sides would want. His locker did well. Showed it, and now he's away. Hand pass over the top of Baird, and he follows up Locken. He come this side of the ground to Morrison. Morrison backs off. Morrison then goes wide for Slattery, sets it up. Cicolella came in, knocked it away. They've got 3-on-2 here, but he can't keep it in. Lindsay and Jared were supporting, but Cicolella couldn't get away from Slattery. 21 points to margin. We're in time on third quarter. What a contest. The Eagles led by 21 points at quarter time to show you the strength of the breeze they're kicking with. And they trail by a point at half time. Magpies again stressing will come home with the breeze. Great mark by Carr going back. Skipworth got him one across the chops. Carr took it, can release it to Butcher. Butcher's in a bit of space, decides to play on to Harry. Harry can take off as well. He goes down to half forward to Waterhouse. Waterhouse has got Slattery. He sits it up high. He says, catch that. Going back. He couldn't take it. It's still in front of them. Sliding in was Mickeljohn. Not the greatest of kicks off his left foot. Shattuck takes it. The Eagles will relieve that pressure.
25. Simmons kicks to the outer side. One of the Rolls-Royce players of the competition in Mackenzie, who looks for Rugolo on the outer side wing. Foot race. Baird gets there. Taken to the line. John Baird. Ball still in play somehow. Hovering is Westbrook. He just thought, oh, I'll come in and try and pinch this footy, but he can't. And there'll be a boundary throw-in. 21
possessions for Mark Mackenzie today, top player on the ground.
Yeah, good player, Mark Mackenzie. There's John Baird fighting hard with Rugolo, and Westbrook just couldn't get a handle on it. John Baird for the Kangaroos, and also rookie listed by Hawthorn going back a few years ago now. Free kick goes against Mackenzie, goes to Rock Harry. Bit of finger pointing by the number 57, and he'll get 25. And Harry just a bit of a dive there. We saw a few of those in the World Cup soccer.
Wouldn't have been out of place there, would it?
Michael Hayden Skipworth just coming from the ground. He's just got a little bit of blood just streaming out of the mouth there. He's got a cut inside the mouth, so the doctors will patch that up. And Matty Cooper coming back on. And Grokey also on. He's gone to centre half forward. Jacobs on the bench. Lindsay back in the ruck. Work all that out.
Well, Grokey spent a fair bit of time off. And here's Summerton with an opportunity from about 40 metres on a pretty difficult angle there. Tough to kick from there. But the young man's got nothing to lose, and we'll have a good shot of it from here, the reverse angle view. Young Summerton. So I dash for my book. He's kicked 1 goal in his career. The kick just fading away. No one can take the mark, just out of bounds, just floating across the face, off hands. Boundary throw in. There's Hayden Skipworth. Going downstairs to take a closer look. Big pack of players around this. Port would love a goal before three-quarter time. Inkster can't get through. Jeremy Clayton's got him in the sleeper hole. And a ball up again. 25.5 gone.
I think it's a very important 5 minutes here. What do they can still when they get back within 15 points? You reckon that's probably enough for the Eagles? Not enough for the Eagles in this last quarter. If the Eagles get one, it might be enough.
Oh, that looked terribly like a scoopy throw from Joe Pedler, but it's rushed through from behind. 20 points. Have a look at this.
It's stiff, aren't they, the Maggies there? I think you'd probably pay that.
As a result of that, they do get possession, the Eagles. Take it to the far side of the ground, and it'll be a 50-50. Potton did well. He can't release the ball to Elstone eventually, though it does get to him. Elstone tries to break a tackle, and he'll be holding the ball. And Mackenzie will take the free kick. Mark Mackenzie's fired up at the moment. Drops it into Powell. Back into the centre square. Takes one bounce. Has a look up. Run a long way. Did run a long way. Powell goes in long for Passador. Gets rid of Locken briefly. Locken comes again, grabs him, and he kept his feet. Passador gave it back nicely. The hand passes come out. Finally, no. Grokey, and then Cooper again was in there. And then Westbrook off the right foot. Great finish from Westbrook. Oh, that's a vital goal for the Eagles.
Yeah, just get that margin out to an acceptable margin for the Eagles. David Westbrook kicks his 3rd goal for the game. See there, for a change, the kick actually favoured Mark Passador. He kept the ball alive. Just this stage looked like weighted numbers for the Magpies might get them away. The Eagles forwards worked really hard just to keep it alive. And Westbrook just able to break a softer tackle there from the Maggies. Kicks an important goal deep into time on. Momentum into three-quarter time's important. And now Maguire's going to kick 5 goals in this last quarter. The Eagles none to win the game.
And they kicked 4 goals in the first 5 minutes of the opening quarter, then 4 goals in 9 minutes to start the third quarter of the Eagles, but they had to wait then until the 27-minute mark for their next one.
They may be on the roll with Simmons kicking toward Passador. They may get another one here off the ground dangerously. Locken just dives on the footy. Carr will want to rush it through, and they do so. The Eagles are pushing forward late in the third term. It's out to 27 points at the moment.
Port Adelaide bringing the ball in quickly. Morrison, his father played AFL football for South Melbourne, then relocated to Brisbane to play with Wilston Grange. Morrison grew up, played with the Lions, and then went to Richmond and then to Port Adelaide. Clayton didn't see Jared coming, turned over. Inside 50 were Cooper, but no, it was out of bounds before he kicked the ball. Jeremy Clayton has been hammered, and Matthew Cooper's had a few hammerings this afternoon as well. It's been that sort of match, and Andrew, this is the sort of quarter we expected to open the match. Much closer, much tighter, much tougher.
Yeah, certainly didn't expect 10 goals or 10 goals in the first half, but the Eagles have kicked 5 goals to nothing in this quarter. Might just be enough, but certainly the first 10 minutes of the last quarter is going to tell a tale.
Clayton just keeps on keeping on. Struggled in there to get away a hand pass. Powell got one out. Now it comes to Fiarchi. Got it back to Grokey. I've got a player on the far side of the ground with his hands up in Westbrook, but it's play on. Morrison caught. He's taken down on the 50. Timmy Ginniver with plenty to think about going into three-quarter time. They will have the breeze. I'll get a word from Sodas if we get an opportunity before the quarter ends about just what the breeze is doing at the moment, whether it has strengthened. Here's Biarchi. Got it away to Butcher. Butcher to Morrison. Morrison in trouble. Fiarchi came in and pinched it. Now he gets it onto the left foot. Inside 50, three-quarter time siren. Coming in late was Locken, and there will be words spoken there, but that's all at three-quarter time. It's all set up, isn't it? It's the Eagles 15-7-97, Port Adelaide 10-10-70.
In what was a very defensive effort by the Magpies, they didn't really try to score too much. They certainly just persisted and tried to work the ball out of the fence. And for the Eagles, they kicked 5 goals for the quarter. So they got the result, kicking with a breeze. If you look at those goal quickers, nothing was added on the left-hand side of screen with Harry, DePasquale, Archie and Flattery all with 2. Mainly in that second quarter for the Eagles. Passador blasted away with 3. Westbrook with 3 opportunist goals has become important in this game, and Tim Inkster with 2. The rest all singles.
And inside 50s remain very close, but obviously the Eagles far more effective in that quarter.
Oh, absolutely. They moved the ball forward. Jacobs was able to steal a goal. They got a couple from Westbrook. For the Magpies, they just couldn't get that opportunist goal. As I said, this margin is just delicately poised. Get a feeling that it might not just be enough. If Port Adelaide persist and they're able to run the footy, their youngsters have a belief, and they are still right in this game.
Well, we've talked about the fact that Corey Archie has gone forward and it's robbing Peter to pay Paul very much for Port Adelaide. Well, one of the reasons is because Stephen Eichner is injured. And Stephen, look, thanks for your time for a start, because you've had to hobble down the stairs and get out onto the ground for us. And look, that injury, we're going to show it, and I reckon you won't want to see it.
No, I've seen it once before, and it's not a pretty sight. So I don't know how people can keep watching it, to tell you the truth.
Yes, well, as we look at it, look away if you don't want to see what must have been one of the ugliest knee injuries possible. And just tell me, you did all 3 of the major ligaments, anterior, posterior, medial, so it was a fair job. If you're going to do a knee, that's the way to do it, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. I did a really good job of it, and dislocated it as well, as you just saw on the vision as well, so it wasn't a pretty sight.
And tell me, coming back, what's the plan? I guess it's a definite 12 months for you.
Yeah, well, the surgeons told me 18 months, but I'm going to see how I go after 12 months, and when I'm ready to come back, I'll be fitter and bigger than ever, I reckon.
And you were listed with Collingwood in, 2003 as a rookie. You spent 12 months over there in Victoria, couldn't quite break through, and it must be so disappointing to come back here finally, get into some great form and play a state game, only to have that horrific thing happen to you.
Yeah, it is a bit disappointing. It's not just me going well, it was the team going well as well. And yeah, it's a bit disappointing it happened, but that's football for you. You can't do much about that.
Your great form, Steve. What was that attributed to? Would you work harder in the pre-season? Was it just a belief thing? Was it confidence, or was it a combination of everything?
I think it was a bit of a combination of everything. I probably had my best pre-season over the summer, and like Mario, our fitness coach, he really got us stuck into the running, and Brett, our weights coach, did another good job in the weights, and yeah, confidence as well. The players had belief in me too, running off and stuff like that, so all mixture of stuff.
Stephen, I mentioned that you played, or rather were rookie listed by Collingwood. That meant you played in the VFL and you played at Williamstown with Luke Jarrett. You're not surprised, or are you surprised by his form with the Eagles this season?
Not surprised at all. He's a very good player. He's a good wingman, very quick and very got good endurance. He's a very good player over in the VFL, so it doesn't surprise me that he's doing well over here.
And tell me, what's the plan for the Magpies? Obviously, as I said, they've had some problems down back because you aren't there to balance out things. So is Corey Archie going to spend the majority of the season up forward now?
Yes, he's going to give us that target up forward that we've been looking for. And Shane Morrison's fitted well down back with Lokes as well. So I think we've got a good mixture down back now, and I think we'll stick with it for the rest of the season.
Well, good luck with the rehab, and look, thanks again for taking the time to come down from the grandstand, and you can have time now to hobble back all the way. Obviously, you've still got plenty of padding on that leg.
Yes, still got a brace on there, and hopefully another 3 weeks and I'll be off these stupid crutches. So.
Okay, good luck. Thanks, Steve. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
Stephen Eichner, and now we're across to Sodas, who's been listening in at the Eagles.
Well, the game is still very evenly poised. 27 points of difference, but the Eags will be kicking against the breeze. So Port Adelaide have it this term. In the second quarter, they used it beautifully. Now, Ron Fuller has stressed to his players that this isn't enough, 27 points just to relax and sit back on your laurels. He wants his players to attack and continually put pressure on Port so they can't use this breeze to their advantage. Now, David Westbrook bobbed up just late in that third term with his third goal. He has been sensational for the Eagles this year. Last year, he just managed the 11 goals in his 14 games. So far this year, he's kicked 20, and he sits just behind Mark Passador, equal with Tim Inkster with 20 goals. He's been terrific up forward, really filling that role that Vinny Rugolo had last year with his 40 goals, and Vinny missing a lot of football with his broken hand.
Thanks, mate. So as we look through Westbrook's season, in fact, it has been important. Whilst they haven't been more productive, the Eagles forward line, they have been different.
Certainly adds a different aspect to it. You've got himself and Tim Inkster. You've got Mark Passador, sometimes throwing the tall forward. You can see here he plays tall, he plays small, so it's a difficult matchup. And he has got some real grunt around him as well. When the ball hits the ground, he's heavily involved. He works hard. You can see there's Later Shepherd there. He tackles hard. He's important to this Eagles forward line.
No doubt about that. As we look through his performance over time with 48 games, he's close to 50, and he's a very good player, and he'll be important in the final quarter. Here's Michael Maney.
He'll have a few mates too. They'll be important as well, as Cooper gets it out of the middle for the Eagles. First goal, important. If the Eagles can get it, it may be a hard road to hoe. Jarrett kicks forward and finds Passador. He will be the man to deliver the first punch of this final term. Mark Passador, he's kicked 3. He's missed a couple, but was rookie listed by Carlton back in 2000, Mark Passador. Unfortunately, didn't go on to an AFL career, but he's had a terrific one here at the Eagles. Lines them up. This could be a nail. He's got to draw it right to left. It's got a bit of a swerve on it. And he's kicked it across the face, so Port supporters can breathe just that little bit easier.
In the first 3 quarters, the teams going with the breeze have won the quarters by 21, 22 and 28. So it's an average of 24, which if Port did that would see them lose by 3 points.
Port bring the ball in quickly to Eilert. Eilert, great Shepherd coming in there, and Inkster is down and hurt by that, and it was Mark Clayton, the skipper, who did it for Port Adelaide. Here's Di Pasquale, middle of the ground. Meiklejohn fumbled what he could have taken and probably should have. Now Jarrett is onto his left hand, and he goes with a dangerous hand pass into the middle of the ground. Follows up. Now he's in trouble. Duck the head. What does the umpire think? The umpire surely will think, I'll have it. Let's have another look at that Shepherd. Bang.
Just a lack of awareness there by Tim Inkster, but They've relaxed that rule, haven't they? The holding the ball rule. We've seen that early in the year as red hot. Now it's just nowhere near as prevalent as what it was early in the year.
Defenders for the Eagles back there. One of them was Sikalala, beat 2. And now Sikalala breaks away and goes short. And he's got Cooper. Cooper takes his time. Flanking him is Boff. Boff decides to go over the top. They've almost mucked it up. No, they haven't. They managed to get it forward again. Here's Fiachi. Inside 50 for the kick. And a good mark taken by Locken. He's outpointed Passador in the last couple of quarters. Well done by Locken, and away come Port Adelaide.
Butcher in the back pocket. It's been handy for them this afternoon, Troy Butcher. His kicks, Cooper did well. Summerton was the target. Sikalala, who loves to set it up. He kicks it inside 50, looking for Inkster, but the kick. Not normally what you'd expect from Sikalala. Quick handball, series of handballs. And Port Adelaide just get out of trouble. High kick, and that's marked by Sikalala again. So, he doesn't miss a target 2 times in a row, Justin Sikalala. He may just go for the long bomb. He's gone in short, and he's spotted a man up in Lindsay. Lindsay just rocks onto the left boot, hoping for a mark. They fly in at the front. Good work by Mickeljohn. Been impressed with the way he's gone about his work today. He's been pretty enthusiastic about it, Mickeljohn.
Especially being a one-man band, he was important. When he went off, they had to throw Morrison in the ruck, who was severely undersized against Lindsay.
Zoning off Summerton was Sikalala, therefore the young man found himself in a bit of space. A left footer to a pack situation. Crashing through was Mark Clayton. Cooper over the football. Handball a bit fierce for Shattuck. Elstone tried to get it to Butcher. Cooper back on the floor. Good work. Got it away to Rugolo. He had a bounce. Rugolo kicks it inside 50. It's a good kick too. And finds Inkster. Inkster may just go the long barrel. He doesn't. He decides to set it up, hoping for a mark. But the only mark to come is that from Matthew King, who copped one in the solar plexus and took a gutsy mark. In and out of the side, Matthew King, but when he does play, he gives 100%. He's a bit crook just off camera. He's just on his haunches. Taken by Locken at half-back. Kicks to the wing. Important play this, and Inkster is up to it. Just drags it in one-handed. A bit of class from Tim Inkster. He uses Potter. Potter thought about having a bounce, runs his full measure and pumps a low skimming ball, but it's taken by Clayton at halfback.
Clayton's got a lot of possessions in that sort of role, sweeping across the back line. Now Polton's released on centre wing, goes into half forward, high kick. Sikalala is back there, read it best for the Eagles. Now he's found some space, has he? Yes, he has. Must have taken a bounce in there. I didn't see it, but he must have, because he ran a long way. That's going to be a free kick against Polton. And big Lindsay to take it. He's on centre wing.
He's brought it without looking at the footy.
Polton going back without his eyes on the ball. The umpires will pick that up every time. Here's Jared. In a bit of space, chips it in short. Peter Fiachi. Fiachi back quickly. Rob Fiachi, of course, doing his hamstring last week. Soda's mentioning that was an 8-centimetre tear. As Fiachi goes in long and Brokey gets rid of his man in Morrison, who can only hang his head. He was out-muscled there, and I don't know about this. We'll get another look at it, Andrew, but hands involved in so many marking contests these days.
Yes, you can see that he's used his hands there. Look, that's really a skill. Really not too much in that. Morrison probably needs to be a little bit tougher in the contest and come back harder, but Brokey once again just bobs up when the Eagles really need him.
Coming in for his 11th possession, and he has 2 goals now. And gee, it's a hard road back for Port Adelaide from here.
And the Eagles really have controlled the footy in the first 6 minutes of this quarter, as we see Peter Fiachi come off with Skipworth going on, but they've really controlled the play. And eventually they were always going to take a mark. They really peppered the goals early, and they just couldn't find a target up forward. And Brokey's able to work Morrison underneath the footy. Probably a little bit too easy in the end. And importantly, outside the right-hand goal post, ball works the ball. Wind works it back beautifully. An important goal. Good test now for the Maggies. They showed character in the second quarter. Can they show character again and come back?
7th unanswered goal to the Eagles. Amazing stuff. Ball about to come out of there. Simmons just dived on it. Umpire doesn't call for holding the ball, but doesn't reward the man going for the footy, but Simmons was making all the play.
He's had a good day. He's actually the leading kick getter on the ground. 15 kicks, 2 handballs.
Good player. AFL talent scouts are pretty interested in this young man. In goes Sikalella, third man up, taken by Mark Clayton. Sikalella again, Skipworth, just off a step. It's going to fall into the lap of Shattuck. Shattuck can set it up from the wing. Couple of bounces, no one going to him, and down off play looks like Di Pasquale. There's Simmons, another possession to him, thumped away by Locke, and he's not in too good a shape there at the moment. Di Pasquale's been cleaned up by his own man.
Didn't see it, Michael. What I did see was the stretcher. Let's have a look at how
Justin Sigalella, I think.
Oh, just got him on the beak. A little bit.
Sigalella reaching for the ball, and his elbow, of course, was up. It was accidental, but he's obviously got one, and you can see a bit of blood there. And they called for the stretcher. Players stopped. Richard Di Pasquale, 2004 best and fairest here at Port Adelaide, will be carried off.
While we don't witness, want this on Christian Di Pasquale, it's important for the Magpies to now take stock. They need to get it. Here's a different angle. We get a look at it here. And there's the elbow just above the nose, I suppose, probably right in between the eyes. So certainly expect some claret to be coming out of there. But it is important for the Magpies because now they can readdress. Tim Ginnivan gets some time to think about what he needs to do to kick some goals and get himself back in the game. You can see blood actually dripping out of his forehead there, off his nose. So not in a well way, unfortunately, at the moment.
It's a shame because his move into the midfield's been a pretty good one for Port, hasn't it?
It's one of their tough nuts in there, and they need them. You've got your Biarchis and you've got your Rock Harrys to run and carry the footy. They don't have much pace if they haven't got the footy, so you need Di Pasquale and you need those type of front workers in the midfield, those inside midfielders to feed the ball out to those running players.
And Port's runs has been stopped. Their last goal was at the 28-minute mark of the second quarter, so here's this crash by Sikalella accidentally, as you can see, and really did clean him up. That's terrible. But that's our game, unfortunately. I'd like to see players carried off on a stretcher.
Michael, just as Christian Di Pasquale comes off the ground here, just thinking back to the last time that the Eagles lost was actually against Port Adelaide back in round 6. So they won 7 games since, and what actually got them over the line was a big last quarter by both Scott Stevens. He ended up with 5, and Waterhouse kicked 3 goals. Now, one of the big problems for Port Adelaide today is they've had Archie up forward, and he's been good, kicked a couple in the second term. There hasn't really been a big man to go with him, and that's what really Port Adelaide need now is a big player really to stand up in that forward line if they are any chance to win.
And you throw Ivan Marek in that equation as well, who's off playing for the Crows also. So, look, they really are undersized in not only in the ruck, where Michael Johns had to handle it all by himself, but also in key defensive positions.
Interesting, too, that he still had his mouth guard in. Normally, under those circumstances, the mouth guard's one of the first things that comes out. But they know what they're doing down there. Meanwhile, back to the footy. Colville screws it around. They all fly. Another mark to Groki. Well, he's a man that does bob up, as Andrew Rogers mentioned. And he may well kick his 3rd goal and put this game completely out of reach of the Maggies.
You would think so at the 10-minute mark. If he kicks this goal, it's probably enough, isn't it, really, to get the Eagles over the line. It's a tough player. Put his body on the line there, protected where the football was going to fall. Took a relatively easy mark in the end, but he's important to the Eagles because he does add a contest. He does enable them to channel it through centre-half forward, and he does work hard when the opposition have got the footy.
He's a smart player as well, Adam Groki from North Adelaide. Was on Port Adelaide's rookie list a few seasons ago. This ball is just going to drift away for a behind. Well, for all love and money, it was going through, but he's disappointed with that because he knows there's still a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel for the Magpies.
Yeah, 35 points is, is probably enough, but, get it out to 40, it probably would have been a game, set, match. Did everything right with the kick, just didn't quite kick it probably hard enough.
Magpies bring the ball in quickly. Lindsay intercepts for the Eagles and takes his time. Now he virtually has to load up, you'd think. Oh, no, he's got a short one on. Dangerous kick in the end. I think he was aiming for Skipworth, and he got Rugolo coming in as support at the back. So Rugolo, don't think he's going to carry the distance into the breeze, so he'll look to pass it off as well. He can come to this side of the ground. He tries to go for Powell, and Powell comes over the top and marks perhaps what he shouldn't have been able to take. Now Sikalele, he drops it in short, and Inkster on the lead with the chest mark. And Tim Inkster off the ball before. There was an interesting clash, and he was left with a sore ear, shall we say. And I think it might have been a little collision with a Port Adelaide player. Where's number 14?
You're on the line, you're going onto it.
Daniel Elstone was involved in something there that was interesting. Anyway, as Inkster comes in from 35 metres, nails a goal, and that margin stretches to 41 points.
Starting to see the difference between a genuine top three side and perhaps a team not quite at their best today. The man we saw that kicked that forward to Inkster, Justin Sikalele, has really controlled this last quarter. From half back, playing on a youngster in Somerton, has been able to run around and really do what he wants to do. He has controlled this game with his good decision-making, and you saw there just his ability to use the footy.
5 kicks, 1 handball to Sicker in this quarter.
Another youngster on Tim Inkster, 2, young Dolling. Out of the centre. Powell in there.
Never had a chance. Ball pin.
Can't break free. The number 7.
And Michael, just for Port Adelaide supporters who perhaps wondering what's happened to Paul Evans, we did talk about their lack of forwards. He had that reconstruction last year, and just recently he damaged his knee again at training. Now, he did fear that there could have been another reconstruction to that same knee. Fortunately for Port Adelaide, he had an arthroscope, and they just trimmed things up and cleaned that. But he probably won't play for the rest of this season. He'll make a decision on his career at the end of this year.
Disappointing. Slattery to King, because they really do need someone with a focal point up there. Baird gets it to Dolling, back to Baird. Good running by the Magpies out of half-back. Baird kicks long, hoping for a mark. Or Waterhouse just landed his lap and he couldn't grab it. In comes Potter. Over the football, Inkster. Oh, the Eagles machine's just in cruise control at the moment. Taken by Mackenzie. Just a short spot up to Nathan Bock. His progress is going along nicely from a Crow's point of view. Inkster, full of run, to Sikalele, who just keeps rebounding. Who's playing on him? Goodness me, he's had that much latitude. It's not funny. Sikalele kicks it long, looking for Passador, who gets a free kick. Over the shoulder, in the back, take your pick. And Mark Passador looks a little bit surprised about that. But you'll take it when you're a forward, because you get your head battered around a fair bit.
Yeah, it was a bit marginal, probably a little bit soft in the air, but don't want to harp on Justin Sikalele. But just his use of the footy there. Mark Passador led to the pocket. Sikalele elected to have another bounce. Passador led back to the centre corridor, worked hard. The kick just favoured him. And he was able to just hopefully put some real pressure on Logan.
For goal number 4, and Passador's got a big hook on it. A bit like my golf swing.
Michael, Timmy Inkster just coming from the ground there, and we can see he's actually got that right thigh heavily strapped. Now, he didn't have that strap before the game. He came into this match with a little bit of an injury cloud over his thigh, and has been pretty impressive today, considering he's probably only on a leg and a half. But he had that patched up at half-time, and he has been running around okay, but he will be rested for the rest of this game.
And there's Inkster having a bit of strapping done. On the outer side, Powell can't get it. In goes Cooper. Just fed it away to Rugolo from the pocket. Looking for Passador again. 1 grab, 2 can't take it. Locken, he's done pretty well. Got it over the top to Baird. Baird's kick into the middle, spots up Biaggi. Biaggi can run. Decides to handball over the top to Elstone. Not a good one. Set him a task. He held on to it. They've got him. He's caught. What does the umpire say? It was held to him. He might have had a bit of prior opportunity there, Daniel Elstone.
Let's have a look here. I think it's probably a fair decision. I mean, I'm the one for, he's got the ball. He's got to have a right opportunity to get rid of it. Did he have it?
Out the centre wing. Here's Clayton. Mark Clayton. Haven't seen a lot of him this afternoon. He gets it down to half forward, out of bounds. Next week in our coverage, we can look forward to, should be another very, very interesting clash with Port Adelaide taking on North Adelaide here at Alberton. Magpies really hard up against it this afternoon. In the end, as Andrew said, the Eagles look like they'll win fairly comfortably. They've won on 3 of their past 4 trips to Alberton as Bianchi comes out the back, drops it into Carr. Managed Somerton up into that dangerous area, 25 metres from goal. Port Adelaide struggling, though, to get an effective forward this afternoon. Corey Archie and Clive Waterhouse have been the main targets, but neither has really been outstanding.
No, Corey Archie's just really going to compete for it really hard. And Mark Clayton, who started at full forward, just really didn't get enough of the footy, or they didn't control the footy enough to actually put some pressure on him.
Chat Davis back on the ground for Port Adelaide, and Daniel Elston coming off. He's just played the 7 games this year. He's had groin problems for most of early on in this season, so he's probably just starting to feel the pinch now late in the game.
18-minute mark of the final quarter and 42 points the margin. She's pretty much all over, and you can tell some of the sting gone out of the game. For Nathan Bock, he's still enthusiastic because he thinks that a position is available on the Crows side for good performances. Here's Bianchi over the ball out of bounds on the far side of the ground. Bianchi appeals for the free kick. Umpire ignores that appeal.
Probably 2 positives. One is, Nathan Bock has been very good today, just with his use in his run. But also John Baird has returned to some of the form we saw early in the year, where he was the outstanding backman in the competition.
Had to pull out of the stateside too, John Baird, with injury. Jared, now that's an interesting kick. I think that might have gone about 3 metres. It was a real high kick, but then the wind caught it. Slattery in front. Good tussle between he and Treby. Slattery took the points on that occasion to Davis, who's the man who's just come on the ground, to Dolling. Dolling's kicked a couple in his career, gave it off to young Somerton, a couple of youngsters, to Harry. He's not very old either, but he can't kick a goal. Just hooked it across his body for a behind. But they just threw it around, trying to find something up there because they've got no potent forward at the moment.
And that's what they need to do. They need to keep the ball alive. They've got to kick a winning score. Look, at 7 goals at the moment, probably unrealistic. But let's just keep switching the ball around, see if we can make something happen, see if we can get a late goal.
Port led by a point at half-time. There were 9 lead changes across a very, very interesting first half. But since half-time, Port Adelaide has added no goals, 4 behinds.
It's very damning, isn't it, when you don't add a goal with Archie at centre-half forward. You're deliberately playing him there to be more potent.
Well, they've got another chance perhaps now. It's spread across the ground to Harry, couldn't take it. Cicolella kept his feet. Jeremy Clayton showed how. Here's Bianchi. Bianchi from 55. Great long kick. And there's their first of the second half. No sooner do you mention it than up pops Shane Bianchi and kicks a goal.
Yes, ironical cheers for the Magpies faithful. Been good today, Shane Bianchi, though. Probably nearly their best player. Kicks his 2nd goal for the day. See there, they're just working the ball forward. Good hands in tight by Jeremy Clayton. Everyone stayed off Shane Bianchi, didn't really go to him. And you can see the strength of this breeze. That's carried. He's kicked that 60 metres. Finishes off a very good day for Shane Bianchi.
He's the busiest player on the ground. 15 kicks and 11 handballs.
Yeah, been impressed with the way he goes about his, well, in general, he goes about his football every week that we see him. Outstanding young player. Tim Ginniv has shown a lot of faith in him. His pal, Jacobs. Free kick coming back. Is it coming back to
Powell?
Back to Powell, is it?
He handballed and then he tried to shepherd and Michael John hit him across the head.
Okay. 35 points the difference. There's Luke Powell. Just casually. It's getting very dark at Alberton here. Rugolo just bounced off his chest. That wasn't 15. Skipworth just about go back. That was shot. Taken by Treby. Treby uses his non-preferred right boot and finds Rugolo, the number 49. Sets it up. Who can take a mark? They all fly. Ball just bounces in the middle of that pack. Grokey across the body for a goal. He's got 3, Adam Grokey. They celebrate. And so they should. It's back out to 41 points. The Eagles have had all the answers after half-time.
Certainly answered anything that Port Adelaide have been able to throw at him. Here's just the replay. Going backwards and forwards here a little bit. And Croaky just stayed front and centre. Didn't really compete in the marking contest. Just stayed front and centre. Luckily, the ball fell to him. They've just controlled the midfield after half-time. And realistically, inside 50s now, 56-45 is a damning statistic, really, when you look at the Port Adelaide midfield. They haven't had enough of the foot in there and probably haven't worked hard enough after half-time.
8 goals, 4-1 since half-time, the Eagles. Here's Islet breaking from the middle for Port Adelaide. Just carries the lead of Polton. Out of bounds in the forward pocket. Look at that wild hair from Jared Polton.
Tim Geneva trying something in there with Jared Polton, pushing from his normal wing to full forward. See if he might be able to steal some late goals and create a mismatch.
That's a footy guy.
Jacobs going against Chi. Short throw in. Pedler took it out of there. Islet intercepted, squared the ball up. Interesting contest, this one, and Justin Cicolella, who may just have earned himself 3 Magarey votes, takes yet another mark. Have a look at that. Eyes on the ball. And Jeremy Clayton was in there as well. And as I said earlier, but for some harsh words to the umpires, Jeremy Clayton might have got a vote as well. Or might get a vote as well. Cicolella. Nice pass to Simmons. Infield. Now Bock. Westbrook on the dive. Umpire eventually credited to him with the mark. It was a mark. Now he goes by hand across to his captain in Colville. Colville, the half forward. Oh, that was an interesting spoil on Groki. Well rode by Rugolo. Back to Powell and now Skipworth. And Skipworth's vision was pretty good. The execution just not quite perfect. McKenzie shook the tackle. Rugolo around the corner. Don't know if he meant that. And I think Groki may have thought that wasn't 15. Initially he was trying to move off. But he was happy to hear the umpire's whistle and say, yes, I'll take a shot on goal. Thank you very much.
You can see how much the heat's gone out of the game now. The Magpies are actually playing out time. Have to be impressed by the Eagles' foot skills then as they brought it forward. We saw a number of players hit targets. It's really been the difference at SANFL. If you do hit your targets, generally you're going to win the game.
Passador, Inkster and Westbrook all have 3 goals for the Eagles. And Groki now has 4.
Yes, he's been the X-Men in this last quarter where we've seen Justin Cicolella control the back line in the midfield. Groki's bobbed up forward with 3 goals for the quarter. So just good vision there by Vinny Regalo. Didn't blast away the goals, just sort of controlled his kick. Groki was able to find some space in an otherwise packed forward line. Goes back and finishes off, as I said, with his 3rd goal for the quarter.
Happy young man, Adam Groki. 47 points. The difference now, back in the centre. Skipworth tries to get it through. Can't do so. Interesting that the Magpies will have to regroup for North Adelaide next week. Jared, 3rd man up. Jeremy Clayton, been a bit quieter today. Slattery can't get through. The tackling of the Eagles, their cohesion, everything's worked well. Happy Box, I think I saw Ron full of smile just a second ago. Then he probably knew the camera was on him, so he just withdrew it. They don't get happy these days, coaches, too much. Slattery would be happy with that bit of work as he pumps it long. Rock Harry got a nudge, no free kick. Here's Clyde, haven't seen much of him in the second half. His kick to Biachi's pretty good. Biachi's kicked the goal this quarter. He splits the middle for number 2 in the term. And goal number 3 overall. The Cats, a wonderful day out at Alberton for Shane Biachi, but he hasn't got a lot of mates in the second half particularly.
No, exactly right. He's continued his form and played 4 quarters of really solid football. Now, a number of his mates at the Magpies have really fallen away. One of the very few possessions for Clive Waterhouse in the second half. Not all his own fault either, because they haven't controlled the midfield. Shane Biachi's run hard all day off that wing. And as I said, he can be one player very pleased with his performance today.
Great expectations, though. The crowd came to life briefly to cheer the fact that, ironically cheer the fact that Clive got a possession then. through the legs of Trevi. Slattery did well, got foot to ball inside 50, and bang, Waterhouse absolutely pushed Bock. Fair income, 2 hands in the back, and Bock will take the free kick. Quickly releases Shattuck. Shattuck's been good this afternoon, 2002 Premiership player in Brisbane, and has made a mistake straight away. Thanks a lot, Aaron.
Put the moz on him, Crossy.
Sorry, Sodas.
Said you put the moz on him, Crossy.
Clayton released it quickly, and now it's inside 50, and a mark for Rock Harry. She's wrapping him up, and then Clayton wrapped him up. Here's Rock Harry. One of the great names in SANFL football. Rock Harry. And it was interesting on the mark from Cicolella, who laid down as he kicked the ball. Maybe it put him off, maybe it didn't. The Eagles at the back through Jarrett. Jarrett gives it off to McKenzie. McKenzie, oh, dangerous kick. Shattuck has another opportunity to relieve some pressure for the Eagles. He can come wide to Colville. Colville will hold up, you'd think. No, he decides to take on Rock Harry. Gives it back inside to Bock, who goes down the line and, well, in some small way disguises the fact that he didn't have much downfield, and so he gained 20 metres for the Eagles by putting it out of bounds.
15 kicks, 2 handballs for Nathan Bock today. For the Eagles, Mackenzie's had 26 possessions, Cicolella 24 and Rugolo 22.
Some good numbers there.
Bock's run out the game pretty well, hasn't he, Andrew, considering he's had so little footy.
Yeah, they certainly have. Obviously, being at an AFL club, he has a larger emphasis on his work when he's not playing, so they would do a lot of bike work down there. Look, I've been really pleased and really happy for Nathan Bock, who hasn't played a lot of footy this year.
Rugolo has been in the same boat, and he gets the ball toward the pocket. I think apparently he's ridden right around the world, Nathan Bock, in the time that he's been off. They really do work hard on him, really.
Look, he's just been really clean, and his kicking has been exceptional today. If we get a look there, there's John Baird just letting Adam Grokey know that 3 goals for the quarter, and he should be for the Italians, I think, in the World Cup there, the way he went down there.
Saw that somewhere before in a different code.
Aaron Shattuck just coming from the ground at the moment. He's had a pretty good day despite that little incident dropping the ball. Has been replaced by Luke Powell.
Thanks, Mark Soderstrom, who must be very humid down there in the boundary line. It's all of about 10 degrees at the moment. And here goes Simmons with a bump by Baird, but Simmons is going to get a free kick for that bump, which I don't understand.
You heard the umpire say you can't bump him in the head, but on the replay, I don't know if it was in the head.
You'd have to suspect he was on the blind side then, the umpire, and he's really taken that Simon's got hit high.
He's booted one today. He's not going to get the distance here. Front and square is King. Just hacks it out of half-back. Cicolella. And here comes Big Clive. Trips over. Taken by Bock. Clean football. Kept his feet. Delivered perfectly to Rugolo. I tell you what, if he was playing it in the midfield, Nathan Bock, you'd love to be playing full forward because he'd hit you lace out just about every time. I don't think one of his kicks missed a target today, Bock. Rugolo's short kick is okay. It's been marked by Westbrook. Lovely vertical leap by David Westbrook. And he's booted 3, and he's looking to match it with Adam Grokey with 4. 3 straight 2. 17 goals, 11 before the start of today. David Westbrook lining up goal number 21 for the year. We'll stay to the end of the game, and then the Bulls will follow this match as Westbrook can't drag it around for a goal. But it's a 42-point lead for Woodville West Torrens.
Watkin brings the ball into Bianchi, follows up, gets the return hand pass, and then wide he comes for King, who looks up, didn't see much in front of him, decides to take a bounce and then go for broke with a kick, which wasn't his best. Siren time. And it is, in the end, a 42-point margin as the players come together, and just a little bit more push and shove to add to the end of the match. But The Eagles would be well pleased with that result this afternoon. Mark Clayton, Port Adelaide captain, just one last little shove before he went off the ground. And at full time, the score reads like this, with the Eagles 19-11, 125, and Port Adelaide 12 goals, 11, 83. So a very comfortable 42-point victory in the end, Andrew.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it looked very competitive in the first half with the Magpies and looked super in that second quarter when they ran and carried the footy and got it in quickly to their forwards. In the end, the weight of numbers through the Eagles midfield was simply too much. It's too many players that got too much of the footy, didn't give their forwards enough time.
Let's have a look at what's coming up next weekend. We look forward to the match of the day, Port Adelaide against North Adelaide at Alberton. That becomes a very important opportunity for Port Adelaide as they try and cement a top 3 berth, having been beaten by the Eagles this afternoon. Sturt play the Eagles at Unley. Glenelg against Western, Norwood against Central District. And that should be another great clash to look forward to. And that, in fact, is Norwood's first Saturday afternoon game of the season. This afternoon, a home game for Port Adelaide, but a victory by 42 points by the Eagles. Thanks for your company. We'll see you next week.